How's it going, everyone? I am ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And together, the two of us make up this little thing called the Two Irish Brothers Show. So here we are for the Ben and Sean's USFL report, week number 3. And so far, this has been a pretty exciting weekend. The Friday night's game was a pretty exciting one. Yesterday, not bad. We have the Pittsburgh Maulers and the Michigan Panthers going on right now. Not much of a game. It's 16-0 in the fourth quarter with about 14 and a half minutes to go. So, but so far this league has been going pretty well. Ben, what's been your thoughts on the reboot USFL to this point?
Dude, I like it. I mean, of course, the obvious complaints from people is everybody plays in the same state, same stadiums, all that kind of stuff, and fans really haven't been there. But no, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a good first step for the USFL. I think that football's football, man. I was thinking about it last night after the Birmingham and Breakers game. Birmingham and New Orleans, I guess, is the right way to say that. Football's football. I mean, come on. It's like everybody wants to say, oh, well, it's semi-pro football or it's this or it's that. Whatever. Dude, I don't care, man.
You have to remember, people, this league is not trying to compete with the NFL like the original USFL did back in the 80s. They're trying to build their own brand, their own thing. They're not trying to compete with anybody. But before we get any further with our report for this week's games, special shout out to a couple of Facebook groups, a USFL fan page just called the USFL, and then a page called the XFL USFL fan zone page. Thank you guys for letting us post our XFL videos, or I'm sorry, our USFL videos with you guys. So we appreciate it very much. Yes, next year the XFL will be back, so we will have 2 spring leagues. Should be a lot of fun. So this week, the week got started with a very exciting game, but disappointing game for me, being a Gamblers fan. The Tampa Bay Bandits got the better of the Gamblers, 27-26 on a last-second field goal.
Yep.
And I mean, this is what I love. I am already getting into this. I've told you, Ben, and you've seen me when we're watching Notre Dame, or if I'm watching the Bears, I get really happy when something good happens, or really pissed when something bad happens.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling this way with the Gamblers. So already for me, I'm loving this league. I'm feeling that, I'm getting that those typical fan feelings that any normal fan would get when watching their favorite team.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But,
no, believe me, I get it.
But breaking down this game in particular, the reboot USFL had its first, and that first was a 100-yard rusher. So Mark Thomas, he ran the ball 24 times for 147 yards and 1 touchdown. Very impressive. He was like he was a freaking beast all over that field. Did you see any of the games on Friday or yesterday?
The only one I watched was Birmingham versus New Orleans.
Okay. All right. Well, we will cover that in just a second. But this game between the Bandits and the Gamblers, really good game. Clayton Thorson, he seemed to finally put it together. 15-24, 240 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and the 1 interception. But that 1 interception was a Hail Mary right before the half. So big deal on that. Leading the way with the wide receivers was Ratliff Williams, 2 catches for 85 yards, 1 touchdown. Zuber, I've been loving this guy. 3 receptions, 73 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then going down the list, Simmons 4 for 24. And then after that, it's a whole lot of nothing. But getting to the Tampa Bay Bandits, Jordan Tayamu, our guy from the St. Louis Battlehawks. He didn't have too his day was not too shabby either. 21-36, 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Washington, 15 carries for 65 yards and 1 touchdown. Tayamu himself had 29 yards on 6 carries and had the 1 touchdown as well. And Then the big time receiver was Dylan. 124 yards on 6 catches with 1 touchdown. So these were 2 teams who really broke it out on the offensive side of things. The only difference in this game, though, was one of our defensive guys, I think it was one of our safeties or our corners, had a freaking what'd they call it? Like an unnecessary roughness or a helmet to helmet.
Yes,
That's what
finds almost $8,000 for it officially. And that was just a football hit, in my opinion. I saw that video. That was a football hit. I mean, I don't know how you can say that was malicious or whatever. Yeah. I totally disagree with that. Totally disagree.
Reggie Northrup was the one who did it, and yeah, I mean, maybe I'm saying this because I'm a fan, but that was just a good old fashioned hit.
I'm not a fan, and I'm saying it. So there you go. I don't know. It's kind of where the NFL's at too. I mean, and I know, people groan, the NFL, don't talk about it, we're in the USFL. But same thing, you see these hits and you see just a wicked hit. There's a lot of force and it looks like the guy gets hit a certain way and it's really not that way. And then the refs call it. It's, yeah.
It sucks. It that kind of ruined it for me because I had a good feeling that the Bandits were going to take advantage of it and get in field goal range, which they did. And it's ironic when they tried to ice the kicker the first time around, he missed it. But what can you do? I mean, who knows if icing the kicker actually works? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I've seen it happen like once. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think maybe there's a myth to that. But
so as it stands, Tampa Bay is now 2-1. Houston's now 1-2, but 7 games left on in the regular season.
Yeah, still a lot of football to play.
Yes, a lot of football left. And Ben, on that note, since you are the Stallions fan here, you cover them. And I saw a little bit of that game too, and it was pretty good.
Stallions defense came to play, man. The Breakers were a 4-point favorite over the Stallions. And Birmingham ended up winning 22-13. That defense came up huge for the Stallions. A strip sack in the end zone for a touchdown was absolutely incredible. Pretty much ended, I wouldn't say put the game on ice, but definitely, swung the momentum strongly to the Stallion side. And then a last-second interception sealed it. So, the Stallions are the last remaining unbeaten team. It was the battle of the unbeatens between New Orleans and Birmingham. And
well, at least until you guys have to play us again, then we'll see.
Well, we got, not to take away anything next week, but, we got the Bandits coming up. So that'll be a real interesting matchup for sure. So, I don't know if anybody will go undefeated this season. I think some of the teams are just so close, neck and neck. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, people are grumbling about our quarterback a little bit, saying that he can't make the throws that he needs to make and all that. But, I don't know how you've seen it, but I've seen a lot of drop passes across the board. I saw a bunch in the game last night for both teams.
I have.
I've seen a bunch when we played you guys the week before. I don't know. I think that's part of it, and all that. So I don't know.
That's the thing. That's where a lot of people are willing to jump on and shit all over this league because of that. Well, you have a lot of drop passes in the NFL too that should have been caught, and you have some bad throws. You have some quarterbacks that don't play worth a crap. So it is what it is. I mean, now you look at your quarterback Smith's numbers. The only number that's really terrible was his completion percentage at not quite 40%. But you look at his passing yardage, 197, and 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception. Those aren't horrible numbers.
Well, and the other thing is too to note, he had a lot of dropbacks. I mean, I'm like you look at his numbers and you look at the attempts and stuff, and you're like, holy cow, that's a lot of attempts. So I don't know, maybe run the ball a little bit more, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. I'm not poo-pooing it. They're 3-0 and, on top of the league at the moment. So I'm not going to
At least your division, you mean?
Well, I mean, they're undefeated, so that's the best team in football right now. So
all right.
But are they? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of football still to be played and all that. But
well, and speaking of one place where Smith really did shine was he did shine on the running game because he had 8 attempts for 59 yards. And then CJ Marable, 16 carries for 36 yards, which could do a lot better, obviously. Brooks James, 5 carries for 20 yards. None of them were able to find the end zone. But yeah, they definitely need to fix their offensive game plan and get a little more consistent. So yeah. you think the Stallions should really hit more with the running game?
I do. I think run a little bit more. I think teams know you're passing. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting and fun. Football's football, as I said.
Well, and that's the thing, I know, like I just mentioned, that's something that people are going to grumble about. We still hear the pissing and moaning about how this league is, and no fans in the stands, this, that, like, playing in one city, 2 stadiums, yada, yada, yada. But you guys have to remember, these guys, including these 3 weeks of the regular season and the preseason, they've only been playing together for 6 weeks.
Right.
6 weeks. I mean, there's NFL teams that it takes, several months just to be able to gel together. And of course, we covered this in our first USFL episode with, the situation of them essentially playing in a bubble this year. Again, that in itself could be for a number of reasons. Could be that they don't have some stadium set up for some of the teams, travel arrangements, living arrangements, all that. But this first season is really just about, like I said, establishing a fan base, building up revenue. And one rumor that I heard, and I don't know if I'd really call it a reliable source, but a friend of mine at work has a friend of a friend who works for Fox Sports. I can't remember if he said Fox Sports Oakland or Fox Sports San Diego. Fox Sports somewhere on the West Coast. I know that. But he was telling my buddy that, or my coworker, that Fox is only giving this league 3 more weeks, and if they don't do better, then they're pulling the plug. Well, why would you pull the plug? I mean, look at the numbers. You had 3 million people watching the first weekend. You had a million plus watching last weekend. And of course, we'll have to wait and see how, the league continues here. But if they're able to stay consistent from this point going forward, then why would you pull the plug on something like that?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, now, yes, 2 million to a 2 million drop is pretty big. I get that. But when it's something new, yeah, you're going to have a lot of people watching, and there's nothing that says you can't get those people back either. But if you're staying consistent for the rest of the way at a million plus every week, I would say that's pretty damn good. Not that I'm a TV expert or anything like that, but it's those aren't horrible ratings. I mean, hell, 3 million people that first weekend, that was more than the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Yeah, I think, there's always a lot of stuff at play and all that. I take all that with a grain of salt. So
yeah. So it's just, the bottom line is, all of you people that are complaining, you got to stop and give this league a chance. Let it progress. Let it move forward and see what happens. Now, as far as the other 2 games we have in progress right now, the Michigan Panthers and the Pittsburgh Maulers. The Panthers lead 16-0 with just over 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. Yeah. And I know we should probably do these videos at night to cover the later game. But it's just, hey, we get busy like everybody else. And later tonight, you have the Generals and the Stars facing off. So I guess we could give a little preview on that. Well, actually, before we get any further, let's see what's going on stat-wise in this game between Pittsburgh and Michigan. So So for the Maulers, it's well, the score speaks for itself. They are laying a big fat goose egg right now, and looking at these numbers by both quarterbacks, they've been playing both Love and Lauletta. Hopefully, I said his name correctly. Neither one of them are looking too hot right now. Love is 10 of 19, 83 yards, no touchdowns. No, I guess the one positive is neither one of them have thrown an interception. And then Lauletta is 6 of 9 for 38 yards.
Yeah.
And I guess the one positive is London, the running back. He has 68 yards on 10 carries. So 6.8 yards a carry. That's not too bad. But it's not looking good for the Maulers. Now, Michigan, on the other hand, they have definitely had a big improvement from the first 2 weeks of the season. Of course, Shea, Patterson, and Paxton Lynch, neither one of them have looked really too good either.
Lit it up.
No, it's not been good for the Panthers quarterbacks either. Patterson 6 of 15 for 37 yards, Lynch 3 of 8 for 23 yards. Need a lot of work there. But a couple bright spots: Corbin, the running back, 60 yards on 15 carries, and then Scott the third, 54 yards and 13 carries with 1 touchdown. So, yeah, a couple bright spots, but it's kind of been at a standstill since that first half.
Yeah. I mean, we have it all the time in other leagues with football. I mean, it happens. So it'll go ahead.
I was gonna say you're gonna have defensive battles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. What'll be interesting tonight is obviously the game. Generals and Stars, Philly and New Jersey. Going to be interesting. Very interesting.
Well, both teams are 1-1. I see. I'm trying to scroll all the way down here. And
you got to remember who wins this game tonight gets atop the North Division. So
yes, that is. So this is a turning point very early in the season.
So just like the South had a game last night for whoever won it is atop that South Division. In the North we see these two teams, and you get that W and you get you get yourself on top. So it'll be interesting. I think this game's going to be a fun one, and I think it's going to get chippy. I really do.
Yeah, that's what you like to see is when guys are getting chippy on the field with one another. It shows you like, hey, they're into it, and when they get into it, that's when the fans start getting into it. But no, this could be I'm not sure who to pick in this one, because last week when the Stars had that which was a really fun game to watch, and their win over Pittsburgh. Their quarterback Brian Scott, he threw for 272 total yards, and so far that's been the highest of any quarterback in this league.
To beat, if you will.
And so who knows what could happen? Deandre Johnson, he's dual threat quarterback. He's made some plays this year. Let's see, no, I didn't want to go there. I did not want to go there. But he's definitely a player that you can look out for in tonight's game. And it's just, it's like, who do you pick in this game? I mean, I guess myself, I'm gonna have to go with Philadelphia.
Really?
I'm gonna have to go with Philadelphia. They're coming off just they were on fire last week, and that's built some momentum.
Yeah, interesting, very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, both teams are very even when it comes to like points for and points against. The Generals are 34 points for and 34 points against, so that's pretty even. Ooh. And then same with the Stars.
No, that's not pretty even. That is even.
So and then the Stars are just one less. They're 47-4 and 46 against. So I mean, they've scored one more point than their opponents have against them. So that's pretty nuts. So I don't know. I think I might go with New Jersey. I think that I don't know.
It really could go either way.
It could go.
Honestly.
Yeah, it really could. I don't know.
And you guys have to remember, Ben and I, like a lot of you, we're still trying to get used to a lot of these players and familiarize ourselves with them, because that part is true. A lot of these guys, they're ones who really were just practice squad teams in the NFL. Those guys, they were maybe backups in the NFL, and a lot of them are college players who weren't given a chance at all in the NFL, so they're playing pro football for the first time. So forgive us if we're still trying to familiarize ourselves with names.
Yep.
But all I know is, to this point, the USFL has been very fun to watch, and the Panthers are about to take one in here they just did. So it's going to be 23-0 Pittsburgh. So, but so far this league has been a lot of fun. I mean, it's spring football. I agree with the slogan "United by Football." You know, it's a professional league for us to watch in the spring, and I just can't say it enough. Don't bitch about it, people. These guys are playing their hearts out for all of us, and this is where you need to show the most support. Leagues like this and players like this need the most support, because we already know what we're going to be getting in the NFL. Those are the top of the line guys, but that doesn't mean that these guys in this league can't play either. So I don't know. It's only been 3 weeks in, people. So yeah. I guess, like I was saying before, Ben, maybe we should probably film these videos at night after the game is over. But the thing is, we both work, so we're not exactly able to stay up late.
Right.
But so we'll eventually try to make a change on that, people, because obviously, we still have one game that has to be played yet, but we'll work on that. But as long as you guys give us a chance to, bring you our report for these games and our discussion on them, we appreciate that very much.
Yep.
So Ben, is there anything else you would like to add for this week's USFL action?
Nope.
All right. Well, I don't have much either. And I guess maybe some week we could do a special show on where we think these teams could play once they get to their respective cities, like what stadiums.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
An idea. So, but yeah, like I said last week in our debut episode for the USFL, any place that we post this, if you guys have a question for us, go ahead and ask it, and we will answer it here on the show. So don't be afraid. Sure. Yep. Don't be afraid. We'll give you an individual shout out as well and read your question. So with that said, I'm ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And as always, good night. God bless. And for me, go Gamblers.
For me, go Stallions. Giddy up.
Giddy up. Aces high for me. So on that note, have a good night, everyone. God bless.